Lives of the Presidents Told in Words of One Syllable by Jean S. Remy. Chapter 10. John Tyler. As a boy, the life of John Tyler was much the same as that of the boys of today. He was born on March 29th, 1790, in Charles City, Virginia, at a time when the whole land was at peace. No talk of the red men came to his young ears, and no fear fell like a dark cloud over the fun and play of his boyhood. He was the son of a man who had for friends the great men of his day. Washington and Benjamin Harrison were warm, close friends of old John Tyler, and he was at one time governor of Virginia. Young John was sent to school when he was a very small boy, and, though he was fond of sports and games, he kept hard at work at his books, and won a high place at school. He was a mere boy when he could enter William and Mary College, and he left in 1806 at the head of his class. He at once took up law with his father, and soon showed the good stuff of which he was made. Clear and quick was his mind, swift to think and feel, and his words came as fast as his thoughts. He rose with great, quick strides towards the first place in the land. In 1825 he was made governor of Virginia, and in 1827 was sent to Congress, where he kept his seat for 6 years. These were years of strife as to the slave trade, and there were fierce, hard words and harsh thoughts between the men of the North and those of the South. Tyler was at home for a few years after he left Congress, and took a high place as a lawyer. In 1836 he was put up with Harrison in the race for the president's chair, but it was not till 1840 that he won this place. Then, as the vice president had not a great deal to do, Tyler went home to Williamsburg. It was here that the sad news of Harrison's death was brought to him, and he at once went on to Washington. Here he found he had a hard task, for he and his Congress did not think the same on the great questions of the day, and were ever at strife. One of his first acts was to put down a state war in Missouri. A Mormon by the name of Smith, and a band of men who thought as he did, went down there to live. Folks there did not like this, and tried to drive them out of the state. But this was a hard thing to do, for there were about 12,000 Mormons. At last, Tyler sent troops there to put down the strife, and the Mormons were sent to Illinois. They were here but a short time, when the same old strife arose, and then they fled to the lands in the far West, where they are to day, in the state of Utah. War broke out in Texas, while Tyler was in the chair, and after fierce fights between the Texans and Mexicans, the Texans won, and were at the head of the state. They asked at once to come into the Union, and in 1845 this great state came in. In the last year of Tyler's rule, Samuel F. B. Morse found out how to send words in just a flash of time through miles and miles of space, and you children know well that the fine wire stretched from one great pole to the next on which the quick news was sent was called the telegraph. At the end of Tyler's first term, James Knox Polk had the most votes, and so took the president's chair, and this news was the first that was sent over the telegraph wires. End of Chapter 10. Recording by Greg Giordano. Newport Richey, Florida.